This experience, it has been very inspiring. This event, I have the course, I went through the course. I think that this event particularly gave me the push that I needed. I had a lot of doubt. I had a lot of excuses for myself as to why I wasn't ready to do real estate. And before I came here, I prayed and I asked God, I said, God, please, God, open my heart. I need you to blind the doubt in me and give me reasons as to why I'm here and what it is that I need to do. And when I tell you it's been answered, it's truly been answered. And I feel like I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna execute. And it's about to get done. Like, it's no more excuses. I don't care what it is, it's getting done. So this event has definitely been inspiring and motivating.
So let me ask you, when things go wrong or when trouble happens in your life, who are you? Are you the same person that gonna show up every day at your 9 to 5? I want you to think about it. Who do you become? Because when I talk to a lot of y'all that's doing real estate, you are the same exact person. I'm like, you got an opportunity to change your family's life. You're still treating it like you're punching a clock every single day. You're not acting like your life is on the line.
I've come to a lot of conferences, and Jamal's conferences and the ETA family, the one thing about them is it just feels like family. And the information that you get and the exposure, there's nothing like it. Like I came all the way from Canada just so I could be in this environment to continue to grow, to expand my mind. And every time I come back, I take things to the next level and my mind just keeps expanding.
We ready? All right, make real estate real. How y'all feel? How y'all feel? Good. So yeah, I had made a post, I think this past Friday, about closing on a property that we had sold. And on that post, I had did a picture of the property we sold. I had put some numbers on there. And at the end of that post, I said, Jamal, you know, if you want me to come on stage and share my testimony, I'd be more than happy to. Well, of course, he took me up on that offer. So here I am. So Cam reached out to me, I think, Saturday or Sunday, was like, yeah, Jamal is going to have you come up and speak if you want to, about 10 to 15 minutes. Then she said, you know, I said, is it going to be formal or just kind of informal? She said, it's kind of informal, but we're going to send you some slides. I said, that sounds kind of formal to me. But either way, so I was literally at the airport. I'm putting together the slides last night. I put together some slides, and we're going to see what we get out of this. So here we go. All right. So who am I? I'm Curtis Wilson, as they say. I'm from Huntsville, Alabama. How many people are familiar with Huntsville, Alabama? Oh, we got 2, 5, 6, a couple of people. So yeah, if you're familiar with Huntsville, Alabama, E.T. speaks about that a lot. That's where he went to school, Oakwood. Carl, a lot of people are familiar with Huntsville, Alabama. Huntsville, believe it or not, is ranked one of the smartest cities in the nation. Huntsville has the most PhDs per capita in the country. Huntsville is a gem. We got the Space and Rocket Center. We got defense contractors, your Boeings, your Lockheed, Redstone Arsenal. Huntsville has a lot of money. When we had that recession a couple of years ago, Huntsville didn't miss a beat. People still out shopping, spending money. A little bit more about myself. I worked for the government for 11 years. I specialize in government contracting. So when Zena was up there talking about those clauses and those terms, familiar with a lot of them. Government contracts, if you're not familiar with them, those are key. I'm gonna talk about that a little bit later, how to get into that, but I'm telling you guys, if you have a small business and things of that nature that you can sell to the government, you can get some money out of that. But yeah, I worked for the government for 11 years before I quit last year to do this full time. Right. Thank you. All right, and my business is Acquire Home Corp. We're gonna get into this a little bit, but basically, my company, we specialize in short-term rentals. And like I said, we'll get into that in a little bit. Here's my portfolio. It's kind of small when you compare it to Jamal, but you know, I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get there. Right now, we house hack. You guys should be familiar with house hacking. So we have a primary residence in Huntsville, Alabama. We have property, our main property, we have a separate garage space that we built out, or the previous owner built out for his mother-in-law, and we took that property and actually turned it into a short-term rental where our guests come in and they can use that space for like Airbnb and stuff like that. We also have a single-family condo that we rent out long-term traditionally. We have a fourplex that we recently just sold. That's the one that you guys saw online. We have an eightplex that I'm currently renovating. We literally should be finished by the end of this month. I was literally sitting over there texting a contractor right now. If you guys are in this space, you know when you're dealing with contractors and dealing with the city inspectors, there's going to be some delays, trust me. So we were supposed to be finished back in like August time frame. Here we are going into November and we're still working on this property. And then last but not least, we have 13 short-term rental properties, and that we do through rental arbitrage. So if you guys are familiar, anything about Airbnb, short-term rentals, you should know what rental arbitrage is. Get with me later, I can explain what that is. Okay, so this is the property that we closed on earlier this year. I think I posted this one back in the group probably around January, February this year when we closed it. So this is the property that's me at closing. As you can see, this property is in one of the rougher sides of Huntsville. Huntsville don't have any rough sides, by the way, not compared to like Chicago, but quote unquote, one of the rougher sides of Huntsville. As you can see, and I got a ton of pictures on my phone, but as you can see, this property is boarded up, new windows, trash out there. It's 8 units, bad shape, bad shape. Had a guy reach out to me, didn't even know the guy. He said, man, I heard you buying properties. I heard you bought a fourplex last year. I got a property that you're interested in. When he gave me the address, I said, nah, I know that area, man. I'm good. So I actually didn't even take him up on his offer. He called me back. He said, look, you sure you don't want to come look at this property? I got, when your name came in my circle, you sure you don't want to go look at it? Told my wife, I said, yeah, let's go look at it. When I tell you this property was in the cut, it was in the cut, but it was a hidden gem. So when I said, you know, I went back, calculated some of the numbers, do the 70% rule, all the teachings that Jamal gave us and make real estate rent. I literally went back to that slides of the 70% rule to how to calculate that thing and put that in there, and the numbers came out. The numbers literally came out. So just going over some of the numbers, like I said, the purchase price was $417, renovation cost $160, ARV would be about around $950. Those two numbers have changed. Like I say, Huntsville, once again, if you haven't heard of it, Google it. Those numbers have changed. Their renovation cost is now probably close to about $180. Their ARV probably now is closer to probably about $1 million now, just based on the area and how they're gentrifying that area that I spoke of that I said was the kind of ghetto, but it's not. It's up and coming. It's up and coming, trust me. This is the one I posted on Friday. Like I said, Jamal likes numbers, so here goes some actual raw numbers. If you guys saw that, this was the actual post. We net profit $174,000. I looked at my bank account literally yesterday, and the wire transfer had hit. So we was ecstatic about that. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So yeah, so like I say, purchase price was $217 from the what was the purchase price? I think it was $217, I can't remember, but we ended up selling it for $400, of course, and then with all your fees and things of that nature, like I say, our net profit was $144,000, and that's real actual dollars. That's not credit, that's not coming to, there was a real money in my account that I can touch and do something with. Okay, so I'm gonna switch gears real quick. So like I said, those are our long-term properties for right now. I'm gonna go over like the short-term rentals and how do I fund these? How did you get the 20% down on a $417,000 property this year? How did you get money from the fourplex that you bought previous year? How did you get money for your condo that you bought? Where's this money coming from? Because like everybody else, I had a 9-to-5 too. So I'm like, got a family and everything. So that money takes time to save up. So how did you do it? So we do it through short-term rentals. That's our website, so it's live. You can go there, get a little bit more information about my wife, about our company, things of that nature, so feel free to go there. I'm gonna show this YouTube clip, and this is just one of our properties that we do the rental arbitrage short-term housing. I'm just ecstatic to be here, guys. I mean, I didn't get a chance to come last year because we was literally working on that deal for the Aplex, so my money was tied up in that. My bookkeeper who does my books, and like I say, hire a team, guys. Don't think you should do all this by yourself. Hire a team, hire a team. Here we go, okay. Great money in short-term rentals, guys. I'm telling you, if you're not familiar with it, get into it. Like normal apartments and things that you can rent out for $1,000 a month, $1,500 a month, short-term rentals, you can make literally 3 to 4, 5 times that amount in a month. I'm gonna show you guys some real numbers on that. How did we get started? Oh man, so how did I get started in real estate? As Jamal always said, we're already in real estate, just what side of the street you're on. So we've already been in real estate. But my aunt, she lives in DC and she has several properties, but she has a freedom. She has freedom. I'm like, Auntie, how are you able to take these trips to Jamaica? How are you able to do all these trips and things like that? She said real estate. So it opened my eye. And then I have other family members. I have people on my job, 40, 50 years in the government, and once they retire, they don't have no life. And I'm like, I see the end goal of my path. That's not what I want for me and my family. So I said, I gotta make a choice. Following a lot of things on neighbor, when they brought on Jamal, I was like, yo, this guy's story sounds very familiar to my life. So long story short, I don't know if that's what Jamal wants me to go with it, but long story short, end up following Jamal, following the blueprint that he put, and that's how we got into real estate. Now, if he wanted me to get into the technical of how we found the property, how we do the door-to-door, like you say, literally 10 properties a day, we're riding around, we're cold calling. I'm leaving work at like 4 p.m., riding around looking at properties, knocking on doors, passing out flyers, whatever the case may be, to try to figure out, okay, somebody's gonna let me get a property. And like I said, we started with the single family, learned single family is cool, but as soon as it gets vacant, you're back to ground zero. So I understood multifamily from Jamal's teaching, some other readings, that's the way to go. You want me to keep going with something? Okay. How did we? Yeah, we started with a single family. Yeah, so how do we scale? Once again, we use short-term rental money. Like I said, I haven't refined any of the properties. I haven't heat locked any of the properties. That was the first one we sold, and the reason we sold that one because I got another project that's coming up that I'm gonna hold that one for a little while until it literally closes. We got another bigger deal that's coming up in probably the top of the year that we're gonna be working on, and that's going to use that seed money, or should I say that money that we just sold to dump into that. But I haven't used heat lock refi. We literally use short-term rental money to stack up, build up, and then buy properties. Another thing too in Huntsville, a lot of Alabama stuff is still kind of slow, believe it or not. So we have a bank called Plex that's a commercial loan, interest only, 5 years. Interest only 5-year loans at 10% down on a commercial property. Yeah, so while most investors are doing 20, 25, earlier this year, he's a smaller bank, 10% down. I could. Right, small bank, First Jackson Bank. Old money. I mean, his bank, I still had to take the money down there to make the payments. I mean, they handwriting ledgers still. But hey, whatever, the check clears. The check clears. So yeah. Oh, and another thing about me too, I do way better with questions. This whole briefing and presentation stuff, not my thing. But questions, I take them all day. Oh, you can do some questions, Jamal? Or? Okay.
How do you build a team before you have money to pay a team?
How do we build networking and just building relationships? I just build a relationship. Luckily, my relationship, open up a bank account with them, listen to other people. Hey, you might want to go see this guy down at First Jackson Bank. He specializes with what you got going on. He helps people like you that want to invest in the city, build a relationship with them. Contractors. Got stories for days for contractors, but contractors word of mouth. Word of mouth, you put something out there, looking for somebody to come in and do my flooring, looking for somebody to come do my drywall, looking for somebody, do you guys know somebody? Putting it out there, let social media do the walking for you. Put it out there, this is my budget. I'm transparent. I'm not one of those people that hides my pocket. Look, this is my budget. This is what it costs. Show me about 2 or 3 projects you work on. Let me get 2 or 3 testimonials. Let's rock and roll. Let's make this money. So that's how I build my team. I think she was next over here. We haven't done a 10. She said, am I going to do a 1031 exchange for the 174K? We have not decided. I'm open to that. I've talked to literally my legal person. I've talked to my bookkeeper. I talked to my accountant about that. And they said, obviously it's up to me, but they said, I think it's 30 or 60 days to do something with that money. So if we don't 1031 exchange it, then obviously, you got to pay those capital gains tax on. But my accountant is working some things to try to get around that. Trust me. But no, we didn't. To answer your question, no, we didn't put in 1031 exchange. I think I had another question here. Oh.
So Curtis, I don't want to jump ahead, but I know
Yeah.
you were talking about government contracting.
Right.
And I want to know how that relates to real estate and using government contracts.
Right. So how government contract? The government puts what they call solicitations out for everything. Everything the government, like I said, I worked for them for 11 years. I specialize in government contracts. They put out contracts for everything. Somebody had it. Oh, I'm sorry. So the government put contracts for everything from water bottles, haircuts. The government has to put out what they call solicitations to acquire that. Back when Obama was in president, he put out, what do you call them? He put out something that says so much business in this country has to be dedicated, sole source, or what's the word? Not earmarked, but set aside. Set aside for small business. There's so much that has to go there. If you just have your LLCs and stuff set up, we was in, and I know I'm jumping around real quick, but in Alabama, our governor put out something when the pandemic and stuff was going on that she was giving out grants. Just because we had a small business, just because we paid our taxes and everything, we didn't cut any corners, we was able to qualify for a grant. Government gives money, just like they was giving us stipends and those checks, they give those same things to small businesses. But anyway, the government puts out contracts. So land contracts they need, because the government literally doesn't own a lot of this stuff. They need help. When you're talking about places for their training, their military personnel, they have to be in facilities. If you own one of those facilities, the government will set up a contract with you to use your facility. When they have people coming in town for work, these generals and commanders, when they come in and speak, they have to have somewhere to stay. And so that's how you can get government contracts. And like I say, talk with me offline. I can show you that game.
So short-term rentals, I'm not exactly familiar with that, but are you purchasing the properties, or are you, what was it? Are you renting or
Right. So the short-term space, my short-term rental business is we don't purchase the properties. Short-term, I tell people all the time, if you want to get into the short-term rental space, what you want to do is what they call rental arbitrage. Rental arbitrage is basically you have a lease and you have your lease and you sublease your lease to do what you want to do. Short-term rentals is not real estate. It's totally separate. It's you use real estate, but it's not real estate. Just like McDonald's. McDonald's uses a restaurant, but they're not in the real estate game. They just use that building to, make burgers and fries. So what we do is we partner up with apartment complexes, as you saw, and we sign a lease agreement with them, and then we use that property to do our short-term business. It's a game, trust me.
Hey, Curtis, my question is twofold.
Yeah.
The second property that you made the 175 off, was that from Huntsville?
Yeah, that's the first property, the fourplex.
The second property you showed on the screen for 175, 174 profit?
Yes.
That was Huntsville too?
Yes, all
so
of my stuff is in Huntsville.
So you have not purchased properties outside of the state of Alabama yet?
I have not purchased any property out of the state of Alabama, not even out of the city of Huntsville.
All right, we'll talk.
Once again, look at Huntsville, guys. I'm telling you, Huntsville properties, it's up and coming. We got Amazon that just built a plant out. We got Facebook that just built a plant out there.
Yeah, I'm familiar because
I know.
I went.
I'm telling you guys, look at
Oakwood.
Huntsville, Alabama, if you want to do some investing. Question over here, Aaron.
Hi, can you please repeat the name of the bank and the banker?
Yeah.
Thanks.
So we're out, but I just got a question back here. I can't hear his question.
The relationship with the apartment complex.
Yeah, so the relationship with the apartment complex, like I said, we're pretty much established in the Huntsville area now. We have a name, a Quiet Home has a name in the community. So we literally have apartment complex, their representative, their leasing agents, they literally reach out to us now and say, you know, we have properties, would you guys want to bring your business over here? Prior to that, it was cold call, knocking on the door. I did another class, I've done classes for short-term rentals. Guys, take courses. Take courses. If people have already done the work for you, don't try to cheat the system. Take the course. They literally will spell it out for you. Use the information, apply it. It'll do wonders. But just cold knocking on doors, showing up to apartment complexes, talking about what we do, how we do, having a track record from other apartment complexes, other owners. You know, let my numbers speak for themselves. Let clients speak for themselves. They're happy to do business with us. They're happy to do business because they got to get those apartments filled. They have other competitors, just like everybody has competitors. They want business in there just like anybody else. So if I go to them and say, look, I want 2 or 3 of your apartments, and I have a track record that showed I can make rent, I can do all this type of stuff, and I'm going to keep your property clean, they'll be happy to do business with me. And like I said, I can go into more detail about that whole process. If not, any more questions?
If they're calling you, then you got a little more leverage now where...
I do have more leverage
Okay,
now.
so you may not have to sign a full year lease or maybe 6 months, or how does...
Right, yeah, so now, yeah, we don't have to, right now we do a year leases still. Well, now we do, some are even giving me 13, 14 leases, but only charge me like 9, 10 months rents. So that gives me advantage to start out to build some of that equity and capital up, and before I had to make my first rent payment. But yeah, we have those leases in place. And all the leases, as Zeno would say, all are signed under my corporation name. Nothing signed in my personal name, nothing signed in my wife's personal name. Everything is signed through the corporation. So get with your legal guy on how to structure that. More questions, I love questions. That's it for now.
I think, okay, one more question from Zeno.
Oh, okay. Rental arbitrage, correct. That's sort of like a sublease. That's exactly what it is. Okay. So you're leasing it, and then you're subleasing it to the Airbnb customer. Right.
Now, a lot of leases, a lot of landlords or management companies, they won't allow subleases.
Correct.
So is there a particular type of building or management company that do allow subleases as opposed to those that don't?
Right. So here's a quick plug. They don't allow subleases to you, John Doe. They will not allow subleases to you, Curtis Wilson. Curtis Wilson cannot be a tenant and try to sublease. But my company, I represent a corporation that houses government personnel, travel nurses, people coming in for conferences, whatever the case may be. I have clients that need a place to stay, and that's how we get them. So we call them corporate leases. Yeah. Right. Once again, it's a game, guys. It's a game. It's a game.
And have you seen, because I know some cities, as far as like they're starting to cap it and things like that, so have you thought about that?
It's a system. Once again, it's a system. We haven't ran into that issue in Huntsville. Once again, Huntsville is a little bit behind the curve, some of your bigger cities. But you do have to get permits. Do everything in order. Please don't cut corners, guys. Get your permits from your city. You got zoning that has to allow that. It has nothing to do with the apartment complex. Zoning has to sign off on it. The city has to sign off because everybody wants their cut. So get Uncle Sam his cut. But no, they haven't done any caps or anything like that yet. Once again, I represent a company. My company can hold several leases, and they're not going to regulate that.
All right, y'all, we're going to wrap up with this last question so we can get to lunch. But
right.
Go for it.
So with your short-term rental leases, is it with the city as well? Do the city have something to do with it or no?
No, the city has anything to do. The city doesn't have anything to do with my leases with the apartment complex. The city, only thing they care about is making sure my permit and my business license is up to date every year. So pay that money and keep it moving. And that's all a tax write-off anyway. So, like I say, I'll be here all week. So.
Yeah, y'all give it up for Curtis.